Good morning, Oviedo. It's Friday, and this is your WROR-TV Weekly.
This broadcast is being produced for the Florida Scholastic Press Convention. This show is all about things that are unbelievable.
It's hard not to take that theme and immediately think about last week's solar eclipse. Those in the path of totality definitely get an unbelievable sight. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for us here in Florida, but still, an eclipse is rather incredible. However, with liability concerns that were restrictions on students being able to observe the eclipse during school, reporter Allison Alford and photographer Malachi Babone have more.
On Monday, April 8th, a solar eclipse traversed across the United States. In many states, people could view this unbelievable event in totality. Despite having a 60% partial eclipse here in Florida, schools statewide took precautions to keep students safe.
The solar eclipse policies were put in place for the safety of our students. I think one of the issues, and it actually involves social media, is there are different policies for elementary and middle and high school. So elementary students, if they're bikers or car riders, could stay at the school until 4:30. For the high schools and middle schools, we didn't have that policy in place, and I think there was a bit of confusion among the community on who would be able to be let go, and it was exacerbated on social media. We did have a lack of attendance on Monday. Some of the students checked out at 12:30 and were allowed to and were excused for that. Specifically for Oviedo High School, how it affected us, it happened to coincide with prom. So normally, although not excused, seniors usually take their skip day after prom. So a lot of the seniors weren't here on Monday anyway.
A science teacher at Indian Trails Middle School was able to find ways to work with these policies. He made the eclipse into a fun learning opportunity for his students with the proper protection.
Student attendance was definitely affected by the policy because most of them wanted to just stay home. I would say at least half.
Despite the challenges presented by the policies and the lack of attendance, science teachers were still able to push through and let their students view the solar eclipse.
At first we weren't allowed to take them out at all during the eclipse, and then we reached out to the district and we wanted the kids to be able to see the eclipse with solar approved glasses. And as long as parents gave them the permission, that was fine. And they also had a piece of solar paper, and they put an object on it to try to get a print on the paper from the UV light.
Even though the students did not get to see the eclipse in its full effect, it was still an unbelievable sight that got kids out of the classroom having fun with science. For WROR-TV, I'm Allison Alford.
A total solar eclipse will eventually cross the state of Florida, but not until August of 2045. So if you still find yourself in the Sunshine State in 21 years, the Central Florida area will have a front row seat to a historic site.
Talk about unbelievable. Imagine the Disney tickets that day.
That will probably be a frustration, but there's quite a bit of time ahead to plan for that day. But one frustration that is very much in here now for students in Florida are teacher shortages.
Some students here at Oviedo have had classes in flux, whether it's a long-term sub or teachers that don't stay for long.
Reporter Caden Martz is feeling that frustration, and he argues why this is an unbelievable situation.
Teacher, how do you... Oh, right. I don't have a teacher, but that's only because my replacement teacher quit too. I mean, yeah, we're upset about it, but I can't blame them.
I know I wouldn't want to do a job where the average wage has gone down since 1996.
And it's not just my class.
The number of newly certified teachers in Florida is dropping drastically.
With increasing rent prices and decreasing wages, teachers' love for students isn't going to pay the bills. So what am I, a Floridian student, going to use to help me learn? According to ACT.org, in 2023, 46% of students said they use forms of AI to help them with assignments, but we shouldn't be surprised. AI seems like the perfect crutch for teacherless students. AI always answers quickly, and AI always gives you exactly what you want. Whoa! But you can't use crutches forever. AI can't give students what they need. They don't replace how teachers go through the curriculum and help students academically and in real life as well. Teachers are crucial for education, but if we don't have them, don't be surprised when students turn to AI to do it instead. For WROR-TV, I'm Caden Martz reporting.
We should note that of course not all classes face the effects of teacher shortages. In fact, the bioscience program of Emphasis has thrived under the steady leadership of its teachers.
And this class truly does some unbelievable assignments. Just recently, they did some interesting work with worms.
Reporter Aubrey Sandiford and photographer Addison Armour put the class lab work under a microscope.
At Oviedo High School, there's an abundance of different classes to choose from. One elective that dives deeper into molecular biology through practical application is Biotech.
My favorite thing about Biotech is probably like the hands-on stuff. Like Biotech 1, it was very much like workbooks, labs, like all kinds of things like that. But this year, like we actually get to like do fun things and microscopes and learn like the real world side of things. Like if you were to actually pursue this, like see what it's kind of like instead of it just being like a class.
All of the hands-on application has led to various fascinating labs, such as the one they're currently doing with worms.
Okay, so pretty much what we're doing with our worms is we are watching them go through their life cycle, and so that we can also like see kind of how they reproduce, and then we can essentially transform their genes and select certain genes that we want them to produce. We can make them go faster, we can make them resistant to certain bacteria and like genes and killers like pesticides. We can even make them glow.
It is unbelievable the amount of ways that they can alter worms if they have them in the right life cycle. Unfortunately, that was not the case.
That last week when I called the company to send out the C. elegans, they said they were going to ship them out Tuesday, the day before yesterday, and or 2 days before yesterday, and we would receive them yesterday, which would have been perfect. So I received them last Monday.
Classic mishap happened in Biotech, and so the worms came too early, and therefore we have to rush the project now because the worms are dying.
Despite the setbacks, they continue to strive forward in the lab and in life.
It teaches you valuable concepts that you can use in the lab and even in your natural life. Like, it teaches you really good study habits, and if you were to use Biotech for your future, using the base exam, it would look great on like applications for like certain jobs, because you have that previous experience. Like other people who just came straight out of college, they don't have as long of an experience with like Biotech and using all these different like materials and like lab pieces, like a microscope or like a micropipette. Like you just have that practice, and so you're naturally going to be set out instead of all the other candidates.
I'm Aubrey Sandifer reporting.
That's all we have for you this week, Oviedo. We hope you have an unbelievable weekend.
And as always, go Lions!